Range Rover Sport crossover in 2021 became the best-selling car of the British brand. At the same time, in recent years it has been consistently selling about 40% better than the flagship Land Rover Range Rover, which literally just changed generations. Following the previous work schedule, the updated version of Sport should be released about a year later. That is, right now engineers are actively preparing for the premiere, planning a debut at the end of 2022. Like the classic Range Rover, the Sport version will move to the new Land Rover MLA Flex architecture, which promises many technical changes. The chassis of the car will be represented by a complex 5-lever rear suspension and an all-wheel drive transmission with a clutch on the front wheel axle, and will also be fully controllable. Dynamic Response Pro, where the rear wheels will turn, including, thereby reducing the turning radius and improving cornering. Thanks to the air suspension, the clearance of the Range Rover Sport 2022 will be able to vary in a very wide range. On the classic version it is from 110 to 295 mm. And many sensors will monitor the condition of the roadway, transmitting information to the electronic control units of the adaptive suspension. The Range Rover Sport 2022 retains the legendary corporate style of the exterior with a characteristic shoulder line of the body, making the body to volume, and a minimum of sharp wyszczepówki. The Sport version will definitely be decorated with its original body elements, which will not cancel the main thing. The body frame will become 50% more rigid for torsion, which should improve the smoothness of the ride and contribute to better dynamics. Engineers also expect a reduction in structural noise, by about a quarter of the current figures, and in general they promise higher characteristics of the car in terms of achieving ideal aerodynamics. By the way, it can turn out to be a very serious trump card in the fight against competitors, comparison with which is often conducted in terms of maximum speed and acceleration time. In addition, already at the start of sales, the new Range Rover Sport will be presented in a version of a rechargeable hybrid, and in 2025 a full-fledged electric modification will appear, immediately after a similar one from the flagship Range Rover. In the interior of the new Range Rover Sport 2022 crossover, all equipment items, including optional ones, from the base SUV will be guaranteed to be available. These are natural leather trim already in the initial configuration, and at least free zone climate control, and doors with closers, and a large 13-inch multimedia touchscreen. The virtual dashboard with a diagonal of 14 inches, for sure, will receive its original graphics, as well as the projection screen. It should be expected that, as with the current version of the crossover, the upcoming Range Rover Sport will be able to have two interior layout options, 5 and 7-seater. The latter does not promise a high level of comfort to rear passengers, but at least it will provide the model with a solid status of a three-row SUV. The power component is the most interesting part of the design of the Range Rover Sport of the new generation of the 2022 model year. Of course, the models will offer a wide range of units, basically represented by inline 6s, with a large power range, but the top version of the series will get a new engine. The former, liter 8, with a capacity of 567 horsepower, which is actually a Ford development. The British decided to change to a Bavarian-made V engine. It will be a 4-liter V, which is being put on the hottest BMW M cars right now. For example, on a charged MC sedan, such a power plant produces 626 horses. It is known that Land Rover motorists will change the calibration of the engine to adapt it to a technically different car, but they will obviously try not to yield, for example, to the 616 horsepower BMW XM competition. The benchmark for the Sport series can also be the acceleration dynamics indicator of 4.0 seconds to 60 miles per hour, which with a new engine and carefully designed body aerodynamics is more than a real possible achievement. Do not forget about electrified transmissions, which the EMLA architecture is ready to accept. There is no doubt that the basic versions of the Sport crossovers will have soft hybrid appendages in the performance of 48-volt generators. In the case of a rechargeable hybrid, it will be a 3.0-liter 6-cylinder gasoline engine and a 141 horsepower electric motor. By the way, the BMW V engine fits well into the theme scheme, which is proved by the Concept X, while the tip of the iceberg will definitely be an all-electric power unit 4-wheel drive, twin engine, which will simply have to make the Range Rover Sport EV more powerful than the series version car with a V engine. If you liked the video, you can always support me with a subscription or a like. Thank you and see you tomorrow.